Good afternoon to all present here. I would like to extend a warm welcome to Dr. Shubha Das and Professor Dr. Mohan Krishnan for being a special guest for this afternoon. They're going to give a wonderful lecture on design thinking. So, about Dr. Shubha Das, he's a professor of mechanical engineering, director of international programs, University of Detroit, Mercy, in Detroit, Michigan, USA. So, about biography, Dr. Das started working at the University of Detroit, Mercy in January 1994 and is currently Professor of Mechanical Engineering and Director of International Programs in the College of Engineering and Science. He has an undergraduate degree in Mechanical Engineering from Indian Institute of Technology and Master's PhD in Engineering Mechanics from Iowa State University. He was a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Notre Dame and worked in the industry for 2 years prior to joining UDM. He has taught a variety of courses ranging from freshman to advanced graduate level within the mechanical engineering program as well as the advanced electric vehicle certificate program. His main area of research interest is modeling and simulation of multidisciplinary engineering problems. He has worked in areas ranging from mechatronic systems simulation to multi-physics process simulation using CAE tools such as finite and boundary elements. See, he has served as an associate dean for research and outreach for 6 years. During this time, he launched the undergraduate robotics and mechatronics systems engineering programs, the advanced electric vehicle certificate program, and several engineering degree programs in collaboration with Chinese universities. He also has teaching experience in several courses. In undergraduate degrees, he is specialized in mechanics of materials, mechanics of materials laboratory, mechanical engineering design 1, computer-aided engineering, and many more. Degrees which he pursued are PhD in Engineering Mechanics, Iowa State University in the year 1991, MS in Engineering Mechanics, Iowa 1987, BTech Mechanical Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, India 1985. His area of expertise includes mechanics of materials, mechanical design, computer-aided designing, finite element methods, mechatronics modeling and simulation, numerical methods, and many more. He has also published many books and journals. The books which he published includes Abacus for CATIA V5 tutorials, mechatronic modeling and simulation using bond graph, Handbook of Aluminium, Volume 1, Physical Metallurgy and Processes. He has also published about 14 journals on field of mechanical engineering. He's also received many awards for various professions, which includes Best Teacher Award in April 2002, Faculty Achievement Award for Teaching and Research in October 2001, Engineering Teacher of the Year Award in April 1996, April 2009, Engineering and Science Cornerstone Award in 2016, and nominated for Engineering Teacher of the Year Award in many years, which includes 1995, 1997, 1999, 2000, 2001, 2004, and 2007. And he has also received Purple Shaft Award, University of Detroit, Mercy in 1996 and 2016, and President's Award for Teaching Excellence at Iowa State University in 1990. With a man of such great experience and impeccable achievements, we are really thanked and blessed to have you, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for sparing some time with us, sir. Guys, I'm going to hand over the mic to him, so thanks a lot.
International Office, Veltech University. Actually, we planned this program to university students. Fortunately, it was not happened there. It is fortunate to you to attend the great design thinking workshop. Actually, we planned as a workshop. It's a great opportunity. Design thinking is one of the important aspects which all the engineers should do. It is not only for mechanical, it is a common thing for all the engineers. Okay, and thank you very much, Professor, for accepting to deliver lecture to our students. And also I thank Professor Mohan Krishnan, sir. Still, sir, I remember your lecture about 2 years ago about autonomous vehicles. Professor also very experienced. He is also from University of Detroit, Mercy. Actually, he came for official discussion. Professor also joined for this program. So I request all of you to be sincere. Try to make this opportunity in an effective way. Try to learn as much as possible. Try to interact. Okay, it's a great opportunity. I request all of you to utilize it properly. Thank you. And
This is the time when I was a student, I would fall asleep in class. You know, after lunch, the first class after lunch, the room is nice and cool. Outside it is hot. The teacher talks about chemistry or something else, and students would fall asleep in class. So I'm perfectly aware of that possibility. This is, even though you may have heard or you may have come thinking that this is a lecture, this is not going to be a lecture. This is going to be a workshop, which means that I will do zero work and I will have to get you to do most of the work. Okay? So that way, you know, I will have the luxury of falling asleep, but you may not have the luxury of falling asleep. So let me get a sense of the room here. Are you all from the same discipline, or just, I mean, mostly mechanical engineering students? Everyone is mechanical. And you are the only lady in the class? There are some other students as well. And what levels are you in? Are you like third year, third year? Okay. Okay. Just to get some sense that you are all at the same level. It doesn't matter. You know, this is a topic that can be done for kindergarten age children, or it can be done for adults. Sometimes adults need it more than the kindergarten age children, but that's a different issue. So let me start by asking you, you know, have you heard the word design thinking before? You know, you can raise your hand if you have heard design thinking. How many of you have never heard of design thinking? Now you can raise your hand. Okay, so you have either heard or you have never heard, right? So I'm assuming now most of the people said, you raised their hand, so it means you have never heard of design thinking. Have you had any design classes in engineering? Like mechanical design? Something like that? CAD, yeah, something like that. Or, you know, they say go and design the shaft. You know, here are the dimensions that you know, work very hard, and sometimes, you know, your friend does it and then you do very similar things, etc. So, when you go to take an engineering class, and this is not only true for mechanical engineers, this is true for all engineers. You know, when you go to take a design class, what you do is component design. Like you design a shaft, or you design a housing, or you design a gearbox or something like that. Somebody like your teacher tells you, hey, go and do this design, and you go and do it as a homework. Okay? So design thinking is somewhat different from that. And I'll come to that in a minute. But before we get into that, I want you to do one quick thing. This is the only slide which has my email address. Please write it down, because at the end of this I will give you a homework and you will have to send me your homework by email. Okay? Don't worry, it's not there is no course grade or point associated with it. So if you ignore the homework, I have nothing to hold against you. But please write that down, because in the end I will forget to bring it up again. Okay? So it is dass@udmercy.edu. So coming back to what I was trying to tell you, that in reality, in the real world, design is not just component design. Okay? Design is not just component design. We teach it mostly as component design because that kind of fits well with what we know. As instructors, you know, we have spent many years, you know, learning all these different topics. And you spend many years learning all these different topics. Most of these are called engineering science topics, like statics, mechanics of materials, thermodynamics, etc. So you have taken some of those classes. And what we do in design classes, in curriculum, is this. We do detailed design. You know, you are said, hey, design this gear, it will carry this much torque and rotate this many cycles, etc., and you go home and do that. Nobody tells you why you're doing that, what is the purpose. Your work is actually never going to be produced. You'll only get a grade after the class. Motivation is usually low. You're only doing it to get a grade. Most of the time students don't even understand where does it fit in. But in the real world, design is a lot more than that. Design is one of the most difficult problem to identify as a practicing engineer is what are you going to design? Every engineer is expected to learn design or know design because they are supposed to apply laws of nature, laws of physics to make things that are not there. Create new products, create new services, etc. So most of the time when you go to work, whatever industry you go to work in, we go in there and we have no idea what we are going to do, what design we are going to do. And your boss is not your teacher who is come and tell, hey, we'll be doing only gear design or something like that, right? So one of the most difficult thing is this earlier stage, identifying what is the product that you are going to do. What is the product that you are going to design? Now that, for example, an Apple iPhone, you're all familiar with an iPhone? Yes? Okay, that's a great design, right? Would you agree? So nobody was ever taught how to design an Apple iPhone before the first one was designed, right? Because there was no course on designing iPhones before the first iPhone was designed. Okay, so how did they come up with the idea? How did Steve Jobs come up with that idea that it become a blockbuster product? Okay. So the question is, how do you come up with that? The detailed design is only a small part of that, and we spend a lot of time learning that. So, excuse me. So the concept of design thinking is to make everyone or teach everyone how to think like a designer. So that you can look at the reality, you can look at life, and you can look at the guy on the street and say, he is having this difficulty, I can see in his life, and there is a design opportunity. His life can be made better by creating a product which will do such and such things for him. Okay? For example, if you're traveling on the streets of Chennai or any other big city in India, you will see these autos, the autos go by. The autos are supposed to carry about 3 people or 4 people. A lot of times you will see 10, 15 people in one auto, right? Have you seen that? Okay. So there is a design opportunity there. Why are 10 people on that single auto, right? I'm just giving you that example as something in our daily life you see things and we take it for granted. But every one of them has design opportunities. That's what I'm trying to tell you, okay? And here we are, through this short workshop, learn how to think like a designer. Now, that doesn't mean after 2 hours that you will be always thinking like that. But I want you to start thinking like that or change your point of view when you see something like that. Okay. Now the procedure of design thinking is a formal pathway. So these are sort of the 5 steps of design thinking. So don't worry, I'm not going to give you this slide and ask you to memorize it and have an exam on this. There are these 5 steps called empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. So what we are going to do today is to work in this class to go through each one of those steps. So it's not about me lecturing about them, about each one of them, but we will do some tasks together for each of those steps with a single problem that you will get a first-hand experience how to go through these steps. Okay? Also, it's not a linear path, like you do this first and do this second and do this third. Design is an iterative process, which means you test something, it didn't quite work, then you go back and improve it. You can go back and redesign and recreate the product. Okay, so this is not a linear path, it is iterative. Those who are at the back, can you hear me? Okay. And can you see the board? Just tell the truth. I know you can't see it very well. Okay, but if you can hear me, that's fine. The board is not as important as what we are going to do. Now, before we start the task, I have two stories. One of the stories is on the next slide. So this is a story about the GE inventor who worked on the MRI machine. He's a GE engineer. His name is there, Dept. So he is the current, the current father of the improved MRI that is being used today. And when the story goes, when he first went to deliver that to a hospital, he was very proud. It was a perfect machine, doing everything right, giving fantastic results. So he launched that, delivered that to the hospital, they started working, and then he was leaving, very happy man. He and his team were leaving, very happy man. But he ran into this little girl coming with her mother to the MRI, the lab, to get her MRI done because she was ill and the doctor had ordered it. And he noticed that she was terrified. There was so much fear on her face, and he didn't like the idea of a little girl, coming very afraid to this particular room where his machine will be now used to diagnose her situation. So he stopped the mother and the child and asked her, why is she so afraid? Why does she? And I don't know if you know anything about the MRI experience, but it is in a very cave-like structure. It's claustrophobic. So a lot of people, the whole experience is a lengthy time frame. So the child who has had an MRI before was terrified to be in that situation. They were not as afraid of the result as the experience of that. And this problem got him thinking, and he then found out that many children and many adults actually are very scared of that. So what he did was, he went through essentially the design thinking process, and the MRI, he created the MRI experience for children. So children love to go to theme park, right? They go to roller coaster rides or movies or Star Wars themed activities. So he took that idea and he created MRIs, which are really the theme park experience kind of MRI for children. So this is specifically for children. So you can see a picture of, this doesn't look like a hospital, lab. This looks like a fun place for the children. And I have a few other pictures, different themes. One is a camping theme, that is a Tigger and Pooh theme, different theme for children. And children, after he did this, and this was launched in many hospitals for children, which is serving children, and the child, that fear was reduced significantly. They measured that, how many children are now afraid. Children are now looking forward to this experience, because to the child, it's like a rocket launching experience, except the MRI is also happening at the same time. Okay, so what we basically use is the design thinking process to solve a problem that we identified in a customer or in a user. So he, first of all, empathized with the child. He put himself in the child's shoes and understood the source of the fear. That gave him the idea of how to solve it, or first the idea that this needs to be solved, and then that led to the product that he came up with. Okay. One more story before we launch into the activity. So this is a story local. This is a story from India. Actually, this person, his name is Mr. Prajapati. He has a product line called Mitti Kool. So the story goes that in 2001 in the Gujarat earthquake, a lot of people, were hurt. Their houses were broken. Their kitchens were destroyed. So he was helping with the recovery. He is a potter. His specialty is making pots, earthen pots. You know what they are, right? He went there and observed that even though the people themselves the people he was seeing were not hurt, but all their goods and stuff were destroyed. So they couldn't keep vegetables fresh because now they don't have running electricity or no fridge, etc. So he identified that problem by being in their position, in their shoes, or empathizing with them. And he then, because of his expertise in making things out of clay, he experimented and designed and built this refrigerator which doesn't use electricity. It cools things using the evaporative cooling approach, which you would be learning in a heat transfer class. Now, we learn those things and immediately forget them, in a course, but he put that into practical use. So this product is actually sold in the Indian market. It has a nice name called Mitti Cool, where that comes from, the word Mitti. It has to do with earth and mud. So this is another story, similar thing, somebody recognizing a need and recognizing that there needs to be a solution done, and then working on that solution and coming up with a product line. And of course it leads to good business and everything else. Okay? So this is to set up the stage for what we are going to do. Two stories, two different countries, similar approach. I showed you this before. This is not a linear path, even though it's shown as a linear path, we'll go back and forth. And let me now define what we are going to do. Okay, what we are going to do, and then I will, direct how we are going to do that. So here are 4 pictures. Can you recognize what these pictures are? They are classrooms, right? And actually that classroom is from the Veltech website. I took that picture. This is a classroom in your college somewhere. I don't know where it is. It was on your website. These are other classrooms taken from different university websites. Okay? They're all university level classrooms. Okay? So what do you see in those classrooms? What is happening in those classrooms? Huh? Anybody wants to answer? Are they all the same, or there are some differences? They're all the same, or they are different? There's no right or wrong answer here. It depends on what you think is same and what is different. Huh?
They all interact more with teachers, but in our college that was not very.
You like your classroom the best?
Sir?
Is that what you're saying?
They are interacting more with the staff.
They are interacting more with the staff. Well, that is my fault. I just took the first picture in whatever I found. So that has nothing to do with your college. I mean, I just picked 4 pictures. But yeah, that's an observation, yes. Anything else? Okay, there may be some differences, but essentially they're the same. That's my opinion. Okay, and that's not a right or wrong answer. So my next question for you is a much important question. What is the main purpose of the classroom? You should know the answer to this, or you should have an answer to this. What is the main purpose of a classroom? We are in a classroom. Huh? What? To gain the knowledge about something, right? So you come to class with the hope of gaining knowledge. So in other words, his answer is he wants to be in the class to learn, right? Is gaining the knowledge and learning the same thing? Okay, well how are they different? No, which question are you answering? The first question or the new? So you're answering the first question. Like, what is the main purpose of the classroom? So, what is your answer again? To gain knowledge. Okay, so that's your answer. Anybody else wants to answer that? What is the purpose? You all come to class every day, don't you? Why do you come to class? Louder, you can raise your hand and say, because if you say murmur, I don't No. Your answers are important. Huh? Understanding concepts. Anybody else?
Building career.
Huh?
Building career.
To build a career. You need to come to a classroom to build a career? Yes.
Place that you can develop something.
Repeat that. Repeat that.
Within ourselves, we can develop something in classroom.
Within yourself, you can develop something in your classroom. Anybody else wants to answer? Huh? Study a subject. Okay. So yeah, all the answers that you've given has to do with learning. Do you agree with that? You're trying to study, you're gaining knowledge, you're trying to learn something, right? Are you in agreement with that? Okay. So, what is the purpose of the classroom? Who is the classroom for? Students. You have now this time you all answered students, right? Now look at these 4 classrooms and tell me who is at the center of the classroom. The teacher is at the center of the classroom. So the classroom is for the students. The purpose of the classroom is to learn. But the teacher is at the center of the classroom. And what is happening here in all of these classrooms? Teaching is happening. We don't know if learning is happening. Teaching and learning are 2 different things. Do you understand that? Okay? I can come here and deliver a fantastic lecture. I can prepare for 1 week and deliver a fantastic lecture, but you may not have learned anything. Okay, so the purpose of the classroom is to learn. The purpose of the classroom is for the main people in the classroom are you, but the classrooms are constructed traditionally with the teacher in the center of the classroom. Do you understand that? Okay. So, here is your task. Okay, here is your task. You can see the other questions are kind of leading to that. Is the current setup appropriate for the best classroom experience? Okay. What is the classroom experience? Can the classroom experience be made better? So your task today is to design a better classroom experience. Now I picked this problem because this is a problem for which you are the clients and you are also the designer. Okay, so I could have picked a problem where a rickshaw puller is pulling rickshaw in the middle of the day and he is having some problems. You won't know that until you interview the rickshaw puller what his problems are. But here you have all been in classrooms. You've been in classrooms every day. You have a classroom experience. Okay, but I'm asking you, your task today is to design a better classroom experience. Okay, now what is a better classroom experience? I don't know the answer to that. You don't know the answer to that, right? You have one classroom experience. You don't know the answer, so I'm not even going to ask you what is the better classroom experience. Together, we will try to find out what is the better classroom experience for this group, okay? So you can see that the problem is very open-ended. We don't know what the answer, I don't know at the end of the day where we will be. You don't know at the end of the day where we will be, okay? So this is our starting point. Okay, so the design problem is design a better classroom experience. Don't say I cannot do it because you already have a classroom experience. This is the place that you know the best. You spend a lot of time during the day in the classroom. Okay, and you have one experience at the minimum. So that is the task. Now, it's not a task where I will tell you now go spend 2 hours and design. So I will direct you through this this 5-step process with a timer on so that we are not, wavering and spending many days. We could do this for a week, we could do this for a month, but we only have 2 hours, or now less than 2 hours, right? So we will try to do it in that period of time. We will start with the process of empathizing, which means understanding what is wrong in the current classroom experience. Okay? If you have to design a better classroom experience, we have to first find out what are the things that you don't like about this classroom experience, right? So we will start by the empathizing process, which is putting putting ourselves in our own shoes and asking the questions, what is it that I don't like? Okay. So here is a little bit of, how to empathize, how to ask questions, ask why. Don't ask usually what you do, but ask people to tell a story. So this is what you would do if you are trying to find out somebody else's problem that you don't have experience of. But for your sake, this is what we're going to do. Very important in empathizing is asking the question what, how, and why. Okay? What, how, and why. And I'm going to tell you how we will be doing it for yourself. For the lack of time, I'll skip over this picture, and I'll remind you again, this is representative of your classroom, because typical classrooms all over India, essentially all over the world. Okay, now before we start the first step of the task, here is what we are going to do. Okay, find a partner. Okay, the person sitting next to you could be your partner, and we will call you, for lack of a better representation, person A and person B. So for the first 10 minutes, person A is going to talk and person B is going to take notes. And for the next 10 minutes, person B will going to talk and person A is going to take notes. Okay, you understand that? Do you all follow that? Okay, now you just can't talk about anything, the movie that you watched last night or something like that. Okay, what you will do is you will think about your classroom experience and you will say sentences beginning with only I wish or I hate. Okay, I wish or I hate. Now she may say I hate being in the first row. Okay, I don't know if that's what she will say, but I'm just speaking on you, so don't mind. Then the listener will ask 5 whys or a minimum 5 whys. Okay, so if she says I hate being on the first row, you will ask why, and then she has to answer. Then you will ask again why, and she has to answer. And you keep on asking why, and every time she gives you an answer or he gives you an answer, you write down the answer. You write down the answer. Do we have those sticky notes?
Do we have sticky notes? Sticky notes that shows the answer.
If we don't have it, then it's okay. It's no problem. We will manage. Don't worry. Take out a notebook. Okay, take out a notebook and take out pages that you can tear off your notebook because we will use that later. So you can straight away tear off a page and use that to take notes and do that. We'll be writing other things later. So please do that. Okay, and don't goof off. Work sincerely with me because I know this is a large class and somebody is goofing off at the back. I have no way of catching it. Okay, so find a partner. Anybody will be a partner. It doesn't matter who it is, your best friend or your worst enemy. Anybody you can find. We will do that 10 minutes and 10 minutes. So we will flip. You will say something like I hate that this class has AC. Okay, you may say that. Then somebody will say why, and then your person will say why, etc. And you will write down all the responses. You will write down all the responses. For example, I may say I don't like, I hate visiting cities. I may say I hate visiting large cities, and you will say why. I say I don't like crowded places. And they say why. I can say, I like to be alone. And then I say, why? And then I may say, I don't like body odor. Okay? So, that last statement wouldn't have come out if you didn't ask the 5 whys. Okay? You wouldn't know why I was hating the big cities. Okay? I'm just making this up. This is not true. Okay, are you all ready? Do you all have the directions? People at the back, do you all know what to do? Okay. Are you all ready? You have a partner? work on it diligently. Any other questions before we start? No? Okay. You have a partner? Well, fine. That's one of these guys, the guy behind you. Huh? Oh, they have 3 there. Go, you can go and join them. Okay? Where is my phone? My phone is there. Hello. Hold on. I know this is a big group and things can get loud. So try to talk softly because everybody is talking at this point, right? Try to talk softly so you can hear each other. Are you okay with that? Okay, I'll start the clock. No other discussion other than what I told you. So no talking about the movie that you're going to watch tonight. Okay, the first 10 minutes has started. Start. You can move the chair. I'm not going to do 10 and 10, I'm going to do 5 and 5, okay? There's plenty that you can do in 5 minutes. So continue. I'll call 5 minutes in a little bit of time. down. Now for the next 5 minutes, we will switch partners. So the person who was writing will now talk, and the person who was talking will now write. Okay? You can write on the same sheet of paper, it's not a problem. We will use the same approach. You will say, I wish and or I hate. And if you run out of things to say, that's great. And your questioner will ask why, and why, multiple times, hopefully 5 times, okay? I'll start the clock again for 5 more minutes. Okay, ready? We are switching partners. Start. and come up with a definition of the problem. The problem is open-ended, like, design a new classroom experience or a better classroom experience. What does it mean in specific terms? Okay, so that is the defined part. So for this, we will do some movement. How fast can you guys move? Can you move very quickly? Okay, what I want is this, that there are 80 students in the classroom. I think give or take about 80 students, right? I want 8 groups of 10, okay? 8 groups of 10 to work together, okay? So you don't have to go and search for somebody, find out 10 people around you and you are the group, okay? We are going to destroy this classroom in the sense that you're going to move the chairs, okay? You're going to move the chairs so that the group of 10 will sit in a circle so that they can face each other. Can you do that? Okay, you have 1 minute to do that. The sticky notes come in very handy because you can move it and attach it somewhere. So what I want you to do, what each group has to do, is to take the writings that you have amongst yourself and put them in categories. So some of the things I saw, some of you are writing, they need more practical example, okay? So you may have written it, somebody else in the group may have written, I need more demonstrations in class. They are in the same category, okay? Somebody may say the classroom is too hot, and another person may say, I need AC in the classroom. They are in the same category, okay? Somebody may want a coffee stall next door, like right here, and somebody wants a tea stall here. They are in the same category, right? So what I want you to do is to take whatever you've written, and put them in some categories. Now this is challenging because we don't have the sticky notes. You have to work as a group in a very nice way to categorize them. So I will have to depend on you guys' leadership to do that. Don't fight with each other, okay? I'll come around and talk to each group. Do you all understand the task? So you have to come up with you have to separate them into categories, okay? You have many inputs among the 10 of you. You have to separate them in several categories.